Welcome to She Made That, a series that celebrates creative women. I'm your host, Daniela, and every month I sit down with women to hear their stories, what they create, and why.
She made that. She made that. You're so creative. She made that.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for joining me today on another creative discussion. Before we begin, can you give yourself a little introduction as well as the business you made for yourself?
Hi, Daniela. My name is Michelle. It's nice to, speak with you today. I'm a three steps into alignment coach. And what that means is I help people discover themselves through the value systems that we hold. And I think people sort of get shocked that how much our values actually control our behaviors and our actions and our expectations and our perceptions. And finding that about themselves and knowing it really changes how you see yourself, how you see others, communicate to yourself, communicate to others. You start redirecting your reactive emotions and you start stepping into more of your value soul life.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. What made you decide to create this? Were you at one point having a hard time in finding your value?
Actually, that's a very good question. I became a coach because I think everybody sort of gets stuck in their lifetime, and finding a way out can be very difficult. And it's about learning how to ask yourself what your next moves are. Why do you keep repeating the same things? And it actually started by I ended up seeing a therapist. And as soon as I walked into the office, I really didn't feel heard. And she asked me all the wrong questions, and it really wasn't what I needed at the time. And then I found a different route, which was through coaching, which is finding yourself. And I was so inspired that I decided to become a coach myself and do the deep work and discover who I am. And psychology says, philosopher, actually, Carl Jung says, our values drive us. So these philosophies are century old. And that's what inspired me to start sharing and building people to really truly look at what is meaningful to them and where it comes from and how it drives them, how it creates blind spots, how communicating, it's our values hold our meaning. So that's sort of what happened and how it got me to be a coach, which was, everybody has a story. And mine was, I was sitting in a value that was so important and that I wasn't willing to make any changes, but I was blind to it because I didn't know. And coaching helped me, coach training helped me realize that our values also hold our expectations. And without us knowing and without changes or knowledge, um, we can definitely keep ourselves stuck. So when they say it begins and starts with you, you really have to do the deep work to look within.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Would you say that the end goal to coaching sessions is to find one's purpose? And would you also say that your journey happens for a reason in order to discover yourself? Like, do you think that if you didn't go to therapy that you wouldn't have found what you currently are doing?
That's a very good question. As far as the purpose of a coaching session is understanding your reactive emotions versus your true soul emotions, that things that are truly of value to you. And what I mean by that is we walk around daily in our own personal perception and we project our perception onto others. And what happens is people around us are doing the same thing. So conflict arises. So, 3 steps into alignment in a coaching session is learning how to step out of the reactive conflict and learning to process what truly is the truth of a situation. So, an example, I'm trying to think of an example to give you, would be one of my clients right now is working with a family member, and their whole experience was to help this family member move through life since they didn't have a father figure. And this person came into their lives taking on that role because it was really, really important to them. And so within the family value is stepping into parent role was to always be available. And that's a very strong value to have. And projecting that in the relationship is always being available to this person, and then the receiver is feeling not the same, possibly suffocating, or not showing up in the way that the giver within the value is projecting himself, which can cause conflict. And then what happens is when the conflict happens is you start building walls and you start mirroring each other's behaviors. And that's what a coaching session does. It brings you back to, why are you behaving this way? It's very important to me to step in within a father figure role because this is a family member. Where does this come from? And it came from his own personal experience because he didn't have a father figure. And it was very important to him to provide that mentorship to his nephew, and never explained it to him, but behaved in that way. And then when he realized that he wanted to give what he never had at no expense, he just constantly giving, he was the one who felt drained. And the nephew was on the receiving end thinking like, oh my gosh, give me space, like I don't need you. And so therefore the nephew is projecting suffocation, and the uncle is projecting parenting, and neither of them openly created the space to talk about what they both needed and what they were both trying to give. And so that's the conflict. And when you start dissecting the conflict within a coaching conversation with the experience, which is the mind, and then what your body is feeling, which is our nervous system, and that's the anxiety or the reactive emotion of the sadness, frustration, and then the building a wall instead of building an open boundary and communication. We end up becoming aggressive or passive aggressive or just passive, and we don't say anything. And that's not the true spirit of our value. We don't communicate it. Or if we try to communicate, we're not sure how. So the purpose of a coaching conversation is to get you back home to what is truly meaningful, getting out of the reactive emotion. And I think that in life, through the journeys that we live, we meet people, I feel, for a reason. And I think within my experience, becoming a coach has been something I think that was meant for me. This experience was very, very meaningful. And it's something that I value a lot and feel that people need to learn to discover themselves, to step out of reactiveness and step into their true perception of self, and to be able to live in faith instead of always living within a reactive emotion with false perceptions, because that's where your nervous system is always constantly activated. That's where false relationships fall apart. So I think going through my experience and the learning it having such a huge impact led me to, I think, yes, this for me is a purposeful teaching that I want to share with people. And I think that happens with a lot of people. I think when you go through something that is extremely meaningful, you want to share it, whether it's something that's in your job or just within just your knowledge. You want to go out there and share to people what is the most meaningful thing to you. So yeah, I guess I could say that the journey in life is discovering you when things become meaningful. So if you could step back and learn about yourself, what's truly meaningful, and align with that, and learn to resolve your personal conflict and conflict with others to its true meaning with communication, it's life changing.
Wow, I really appreciate your clarification. So basically, coaching is essentially moving beyond reactive emotions to uncover what's truly meaningful. That is so fascinating. Um, you also mentioned that we cross paths with people for a reason, and I actually really do believe in that as well. Now, do you offer your services virtually, in person, or both?
I do offer my services. Right now, I offer a one-on-one coaching sessions that you can reach me at my website. But I'm currently working on developing a group coaching circle called Finding Peace Within Me, which would be a weekly topic and having a small group of 5 people. And we do a group coaching discovery session and a conversation to move through the topic. I do belong to a few social media groups, and I've read a lot of people's comments and discussing about how expensive actual therapy is and trying to find different strategies. And I thought that I'm going to offer this to people at a drop in fee. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm trying to get that in the works. But otherwise, until it is in and active, I do offer definitely a one-on-one coaching session, and it's an hour and a half of a conversation for you to work through.
Okay, perfect. And what is your website?
My website is www.michellejgauthier.com.
Okay, perfect. I'll definitely add that in the description. Thank you again, Michelle, for joining me today. What you're doing is amazing. Keep doing what you're doing and take care.
She made that. She made that. You're so creative. She made that.